Greetings, fellow Whovians! Well, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Time for another Doctor Who review. Woohoo! So today, let's go to the colony in space. Three travelers meet at an observatory and discuss the theft of confidential files relating to the Doomsday weapon. They begrudgingly realize that only one man can help them, so the Doctor, accidentally accompanied by Jo Grant, is temporarily released from his exile and sent to the TARDIS to the desert planet of Ixarius in the year 2472. There he finds an outpost of human colonists living as farmers. The colony is not a success. The land seems unusually poor, and recently they are being besieged by representatives of rapacious mining corporations, and, more recently, ferocious reptiles. The colony's governor, Robert Ashe, makes them welcome, and explains to the colonists fled a year ago to the planet to escape the overcrowding and pollution on Earth. Two colonists die in a reptile attack that night, and the next morning a man named Norton arrives at the settlement, claiming that he is from another colony that was wiped out by the reptiles. While the Doctor is investigating the dome of the dead colonists, he is surprised by a mining robot controlled by Caldwell, a mineralogist for the IMC. Caldwell invites the Doctor to talk to his bosses and hear their side of the story. His superior, Dent, is a ruthless mining engineer who has been using the mining robot to scare and now kill the colonists, something which Caldwell finds repellent. Dent knows the planet is rich in rare minerals and wants it for IMC, and his greedy troops agree that this should be done at any cost. Dun dun dun! The original inhabitants of the planet, known to the colonists as primitives, have a truce with the colonists, but this is tested when Norton kills the colony's scientist and blames it on Primitive, whom he insists are hostile. Later, Norton is seen communicating with Captain Dent, implying that he is in fact a spy sent for IMC to further disrupt the colonists and not the sole survivor of a similar colony as he claimed. The Doctor meanwhile returns to the central dome of the colonists, having evaded an IMC attempt to kill him, and explains to Ashe that the miners are behind the deaths. And a justiciator from Earth is sent for to deal with complex claims over the planet, but when he arrives it turns out to be the Master. Opposing the adjudicator, he rules that the mining company's claim to the planet is stronger. The Doctor and Jo have meanwhile ventured to the primitive city. From images on cave walls, they interpreted it was once home to an advanced civilization that degraded over time. In the heart of the city, in a room filled with massive machines and a glowing hatch, they encounter a diminutive alien known as the Guardian. It warns them that intruding onto the city is punishable by death and lets them go, but warns them not to return. The Master's education is heard by returning Doctor and Jo. Still in the educator's guise, he tells Ashe that an appeal will fail unless there are special circumstances, such as historical interest, and is intrigued when Ashe tells him about the primitive city. By this ploy, he finds out more about the planet and the primitive city, while Ashe is drawn away from the Doctor, who begins to lose his credibility with the colonists. And the Master then manipulates the Doctor into accompanying him to the primitive city. The situation between colonists and miners has meanwhile reached flashpoint with a pitched battle between them. Dent and his forces triumph as he stages a false trial of Ashe and Winton, the most rebellious of the colonists, sentencing them to death, but commuting the sentence if all the colonists agree to leave the planet and our damaged old colony ship, which first brought them to Ixarius. Inside the city, the Master tells the Doctor that the Primitives were once an advanced civilization. Before declining, they built a super weapon that was never used, and he wants to claim this weapon for himself. The room of the machinery in the city is the heart of a weapon, so powerful that the Crab Nebula was created during a test firing. The Doctor rejects the Master's overture to help him rule the galaxy using the weapon, saying that absolute power is evil and corrupting. The Guardian appears, demanding an explanation for the intrusion. The Master explains that he's come to restore the civilization to its former glory. The Doctor argues against him, and the Guardian recalls that the weapon led his race to decay, and its radiation is ruining the planet, and instructs the Doctor to activate the self-destruct, which he does. The city begins to crumble, and the Guardian tells them they must leave before it's too late. While the Doctor and the Master flee to the King City, they find Caldwell and Jo, and the four get up before the city explodes. The colonist ship has meanwhile exploded on takeoff as Ashe predicted it would. However, the colony leader was the only one to die. He piloted the ship alone to save his people. Winton and the colonists now emerged from hiding and kill or overpower the IMC men, with Caldwell having switched sides to support the colonists. Amid the confusion, the Master manages to make his escape. With the battle over, the Doctor explains that the radiation from the weapon was what was killing their crops, but this limiting factor has now been removed. Earth has agreed to send a real educator to Xerius, and Caldwell has decided to join the colonists. He tells them that he can help them with their power supply. The Doctor and Jo return to the TARDIS, which returns to unit headquarters mere seconds after it left. Having accomplished what the Time Lords intended, the Doctor is once again trapped on Earth. Wah, wah, wah. So yeah, this is a very interesting and unique story. So let's get some continuity and production elements. This is the first time since season 6 that the Doctor travels to another planet in the TARDIS, though it's not the first time he has left Earth. He traveled in a more conventional spaceship in the Ambassadors of Death, traveled to an alternate Earth via the TARDIS console in Inferno, and briefly took the TARDIS to Axos in the Claws of Axos. Accepting a brief CSO shot of one wall in Terror of the Autons, this is also the first time that the inside the Master's TARDIS, or just the Doctor's TARDIS set, is shown. While captured, Jo comments to Winton that she took a course in escapology, something she previously informed the Doctor of in Terror of the Autons. Working titles for this story included Colony. Script editor Terrence Dix has frequently stated that he disliked the original premise of the Doctor being trapped on Earth, and meant to subvert this plan as soon as he felt he could get away with it. He recalls in a DVD documentary interview on the Inferno release, having had it pointed out to him by Malcolm Hulke that the format limited the story to merely two types, alien invasion and mad scientist. Vernon Kay's role as Caldwell is his fourth and final appearance of the series. Dr. Michael Brent spoke the commentary accompanying a propaganda film watched by the Doctor on the IMC spaceship in Episode 2. This was a late cast change, and was originally intended for Pat Gorman, who was subsequently still credited on Episodes 1 and 2 as Primitive and Voice. Susan Jameson was originally cast as Morrigan by Michael E. Bryant. However, she was replaced by Tony Counter when the BBC's head of drama serials made an unusual intervention and decided the role was inappropriate for a woman to perform. Jameson was nevertheless paid in full. This story is one of the first to use the show for social commentary, in this case, the dangers of colonialism. The story, by former Communist Party of Great Britain member Malcolm Hulke, has been described as unshamefully left-wing, with the pioneering colonists and the greedy IMC. As with the space pirates, the story can be seen as a western in space, with the colonists using rifles like cowboys and primitives wielding spears in a similar role to Indians. So, yeah, overall, a very interesting, unique story, and I kind of like it. So, I give Colony in Space 3 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next week as we get to meet the Daemons. So, until then, this is Hoovy and Queen saying, oh my giddy aunt, when I say run, run! I've a polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo! Bow ties are cool, vests are cool, and Stetsons are cool.